You arrive at the Stratosphere on a Tuesday in November, which is to say you arrive at the place where America's promises go to be autopsied under fluorescent light. You have a single roller bag, a cashier's check for $41,000 representing the liquidation of a two-bedroom condo in Reno, and a conviction that has hardened past ideology into something more like physics. You are here to drink and to play until neither is possible. The taxi driver does not ask why you chose this particular tower at the forgotten northern end of the strip. No one who pulls up to the Stratosphere needs to explain themselves. The building explains it for them. The lobby carpet is a hallucination in polyester, a riot of teal and magenta designed not for aesthetic pleasure, but for the precise neurological purpose of concealing stains while maintaining a vibration of synthetic excitement. You check in at the front desk. The room costs $49 a night. You pay for a month in advance, and the clerk does not blink because the Stratosphere has always been the casino that accepts what the Bellagio refuses. Down here at the cheap end of Las Vegas Boulevard, separated from the fantasy palaces by a stretch of pawn shops and wedding chapels, the mythology of glamour has been stripped to its operational skeleton. What remains is the machine itself, and the machine is honest in its dishonesty, which is more than most things offer. You understand what this building is because you have studied what this building does. Every square foot has been engineered by behavioral psychologists and interior architects working in concert toward a single outcome. There are no clocks on the walls. The lighting never changes. The oxygen is pumped and the temperature held at a precise 68 degrees so that your body loses its circadian anchoring. The slot machines emit tones in the key of C major because C major triggers dopamine release more reliably than any other key. Even the bathroom placement has been calculated to force you past the maximum number of gaming positions on your way to relieve yourself. You begin at the blackjack tables, the $10 minimum ones clustered near the sportsbook. The felt is worn smooth in a semicircle where thousands of forearms have rested before yours. The dealer is a woman named Maria whose hands move with the mechanical grace of someone who has dealt 400,000 hands and sees each one as identical. You tip her a $5 chip on your first blackjack and she taps it twice on the table before dropping it into her toke box. This gesture, this double tap, is a ritual of acknowledgement that carries more genuine human warmth than most conversations you have had in the last 5 years. The first 3 weeks establish the rhythm that will define the remainder of your life. You wake around noon, you eat the buffet, which costs $11 and features trays of scrambled eggs, held at a temperature that suggests they were cooked during a previous geological era. You play blackjack for 6 to 8 hours, you drink Maker's Mark delivered free by cocktail waitresses who have memorized your order by the third day. The drinks arrive in short plastic cups. Each cup holds roughly 2 ounces of bourbon. You consume between 12 and 18 of these cups per session. You do not count them, because counting would introduce an awareness that the entire architecture of your days is designed to prevent. The gambler's fallacy is not a failure of logic, it is a failure of ontology. You sit at the table believing that the universe maintains a ledger, that a string of losses accumulates into a debt the cosmos must repay. The cards owe you nothing, but the feeling that they do, this is not stupidity. It is a theological impulse, a faith in cosmic justice that persists because the alternative is unbearable. The alternative is that each hand is an island, disconnected from every hand before it, that nothing accumulates, nothing is owed, nothing converges toward meaning. What the moralists call irrationality is in fact the last refuge of the belief that the world is structured rather than random. Her name is Dolores, and she plays the video poker machines near the elevator bank with a regularity that suggests employment. She is perhaps 60, perhaps 70. Her skin has the papery translucency of someone who has not been outdoors in daylight for a sustained period. She wears the same purple fleece jacket every day. Her player's card hangs from a retractable lanyard clipped to her collar. She earns comps at a rate that provides her with 2 free meals daily and periodic room upgrades. This is her economy. The casino has become her employer, her landlord, her social infrastructure, and her church. You meet her because the cocktail waitress is late, and you wander toward the bar, and she is sitting there eating a comp hot dog with the focused attention of someone for whom this meal is both sacrament and sustenance. You sit beside her and order a bourbon, and she says, without looking at you, they water these down. After midnight, ask for it neat, and they give you the real pour. This is the first useful truth anyone has told you in months. Within a week, you're eating together. Within 2 weeks, you're sitting beside her at the video poker bank while she explains the pay tables. She knows that jacks or better with a 9-6 pay table returns 99.5% over infinite play. She knows this and she plays anyway, which is not contradiction, but clarity. She is not playing to win. She is playing to play. The distinction is everything. I had a husband who wanted to fix me. She says one evening, her fingers dancing across the touchscreen with practice speed therapists, meetings the whole production. He loved me the way people love projects, and now, you say, now I don't need fixing. She says, I need company. This is the Pact, though. Neither of you names it. She will not ask you to stop drinking. You will not ask her to stop playing. What the therapeutic establishment would call enabling, what the recovery industry would classify as codependence, is in fact the only form of love that does not colonize its object. Every other love you have known arrived with conditions and blueprints, with the implicit demand that you become a version of yourself more convenient to the lover. Dolores asks nothing except presence. The near-miss effect is the casino's most elegant psychological weapon. The slot machine is programmed so that losing spins disproportionately display symbols one position away from a winning combination. 2 cherries in a blank where the third cherry sits just above the pay line. Your brain processes this not as a loss, but as an almost win. The neuroimaging research is unambiguous on this point. A near miss activates the same ventral striatum pathway as an actual win. Your reward circuitry cannot distinguish between almost having and having. The machine has found the gap between perception and reality and built its entire economy inside it. By the 6th week, your hands tremble in the morning until the first drink steadies them. Your skin has taken on a yellowish undertone that the fluorescent lighting mercifully disguises. You have lost $19,000. The money concerns you less than you expected. Money you realize was always an abstraction. What it represented, security, future, possibility, these were the actual currencies, and you have already spent those. Dolores notices the jaundice before you do. She says nothing about it. Instead, she brings you a plate of fruit from the buffet one morning, sets it beside your coffee, and returns to her machine. This is what care looks like when it has been stripped of the compulsion to intervene. The fruit sits there, you eat some of it. She does not watch to see if you do. The illusion of control is the third pillar of the casino's psychological architecture, alongside the near miss and the gambler's fallacy. At the craps table, players blow on the dice. At the blackjack table, they tap the felt for a hit with a gesture that mimics agency. The ritual behavior creates a felt sense of participation in the outcome. You know this. You tap the felt anyway. The knowledge changes nothing, because knowledge and behavior operate on different circuits entirely. This is what the rationalists have never understood. Knowing the trap does not spring it. At the 10-week mark, you collapse in the bathroom of the sportsbook. A security guard finds you the paramedics, take your blood pressure, and find it dangerously low. They recommend the hospital. You sign the refusal form. The Stratosphere's medical response protocol, honed by decades of similar incidents, processes you efficiently and without judgment. You're back at the table in 90 minutes. Dolores is waiting. She has ordered you a bourbon, neat, real pour. She has saved your seat. You look terrible. She says, I know, you say. Okay, she says. And that is all the days compress. Now your peripheral vision narrows, the carpet's teal and magenta blur into a single throbbing field. You play fewer hands because your concentration fragments. You drink more because the threshold for steadiness keeps rising. The cocktail waitresses have begun bringing your drinks without being asked. Their faces carry an expression you cannot read. Something between professional neutrality and private sorrow. They have seen this before. The Stratosphere has always been where the trajectory completes itself. You and Dolores develop a routine in these final weeks that an outside observer might call domestic. You share a booth at the buffet. She tells you about her daughter in Bakersfield who calls on Sundays. You tell her about the condo in Reno, the job in accounts receivable the morning you looked at the spreadsheet of your remaining years and found the columns empty. She listens. She does not offer interpretation. She holds your trembling hand under the table while the slots sing their C major hymns all around you. You could still go, she says, once, the only time she comes close to breaking the pact. Her voice carries no conviction, only the residual habit of a world that believes saying such things matters. I'm already where I'm going, you say. And she nods, because she has always known this, because she chose to sit beside you knowing this. On a Thursday in February, in a room that costs $49 a night on the 22nd floor of a tower that was built to be the tallest building west of the Mississippi and immediately became instead the most visible monument to miscalculated ambition on the Las Vegas skyline. Your liver finally surrenders its last negotiation with the bourbon. The cleaning crew finds you in the morning. Your player's card is on the nightstand. Your balance on the casino's loyalty program shows 412 points, enough for one more buffet meal you will never eat. Dolores learns from the front desk clerk. She sits at her video poker machine for 3 hours without pressing a single button. Then she begins to play again. The screen offers her 2 jacks, and she holds them, and the draw gives her nothing. And this registers in her ventral striatum as almost something, and she presses the button again, because the machine has never pretended to be anything other than what it is. And in a building designed to abolish time, this is the closest thing to honesty that the desert has ever produced.